Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Thursday, April 6, 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. Speaking at the plenary session, Prime Minister Edi Rama invited the Democratic Party chairman to dialogue. The Prime Minister made the statement that he is willing to talk about anything and that the DP chairman need only set a date and time. I will not comment either on a provisional government or on the election date. I am waiting for a date and time for a meeting. I hope to get a date and a time. I prefer the meeting be held at the tent, but I have no problem if it is held in another place. Also, I do not mind if the meeting is alone or with or without allies, declared the Prime Minister, expressing readiness to meet with the DP chairman. The Prime Minister rebuffed the idea that elections cannot be held without the opposition, saying, "Efforts to tell Albanian people that elections cannot happen without the opposition are sponsored efforts, paid people to tell an untruth, a ridiculous lie. It is not the opposition that produces freedom, but it is freedom that produces the opposition. If we had a government that restricts freedom, which would then produce an opposition, we would not have an empty tent that is only filled when television cameras are there, but we would have Albanian people protesting in the streets. The opposition is a party. It is not freedom," declared the Prime Minister, who added that fear of the judicial reform is behind the opposition efforts and their boycott in Parliament. Rama said that the DP is trying to hamper the Socialist Party from entering the elections because the SP is the only party that will go through with the judicial reform. He said the boycott of Parliament started just as the judicial reform was to be implemented. This is an effort to keep the Socialist Party from entering the elections. The SP is the warranty of unstoppable justice reforms. Former Minister Sali Berisha was at the protesters' tent when he declared that the Prime Minister can stay in office until June 18th or later to pave way for a provisional government, alluding to a postponement of elections. During his speech, Mr. Berisha spoke harshly against the Prime Minister, saying that he has been abandoned by his allies in government. He said, "If Rama wants to stay in office, we have no objection. He can stay in office until June 18th. Afterwards, we can establish a provisional government and have free elections. Edi Rama leads drug traffickers, so we cannot give our vote to drugs and crime. He included criminals in Parliament. Today, Edi Rama is abandoned by his allies. Why do they abandon him? Because they like the opposition? No, because the opposition's cause is right, because they do not want to have elections with gangs and criminals," declared Berisha, issuing a warning to the Prime Minister not to take their peaceful protest as weakness. According to the former Prime Minister, a provisional government is the only way to guarantee free and fair elections and return democracy to the country. Prime Minister Edi Rama and Tirana's Mayor Ariane Veliai attended the opening ceremony of a reconstructed school for children with special needs. As one of the closest collaborators of the Prime Minister, Tirana's mayor expressed his conviction that the elections will be held on June 18th. People can't wait until they can decide the offer they want for Tirana. It is easy for us to tell people about schools, kindergartens, sport areas, and new roads. Maybe this is one of the reasons why the others do not want to enter the elections, because they have nothing real to say. They used to manage these schools, roads, and kindergartens before us. They had the opportunity to do something. The government continues to give the same funding to City Hall. This is not about money, but about willingness. One should come prepared when there is an exam date. Otherwise, you fail," declared the mayor. While the Prime Minister did not directly comment on the political situation, he spoke of inclusiveness in order to create the Albania we want, saying well-being does not come from nothing, not from any one party, but it comes from the common work of all parties. Let's give the Albanian people the Albania they want. Recently, the Prime Minister and the DP chairman have exchanged invitations to dialogue in effort to solve the political crisis, but neither leader has taken concrete steps so far. The various ambassadors have also issued requests for the two to dialogue. Yesterday, the German ambassador said that political parties can choose if they want to enter the elections or not. But the ambassador of Austria reasoned that all parties should participate in the electoral process to maintain a democratic country. While visiting Shkodra, the ambassador from Austria said, "We are entering an electoral year, which is more difficult than others. The most important thing is that the political parties sit and dialogue with each other, because dialogue is the essence of democracy. Recently, we have seen positive developments. I have heard invitations for dialogue. I have heard the invitation was accepted, and I think that is a step in the right direction. The most important thing is that they talk with each other. In the end, I think there will be a comprehensive electoral process. The most important thing is that the political parties participate in the electoral process. Elections are the basis of democracy." The World Bank presented its report for 6 Balkan countries today. The director for the Western Balkans, Ellen Goldstein, declared that though the reforms have been implemented, the protest is affecting economic growth. Goldstein said, "Albania has implemented the reforms, but the political situation is slowing the reforms and the economic growth. Employment and economic growth increased especially in countries that marked significant progress with their fiscal deficit and addressed their problems, improving the business climate for local and foreign investments." The World Bank representatives in Albania reiterated that political tensions are an internal added risk, in addition to the external risk coming from international factors. They say that the growth projection will change if the political crisis escalates. According to World Bank, public debt has decreased, supported by the decrease of revenue and expenditures. The regional growth is forecast at 2.8% for 2016 and 3.2% in 2017. Further fiscal consolidation and structural reforms are essential for the 6 countries of the region to improve public sector efficiency and increase the competitiveness of their economies. The report stresses that the reforms should focus on the labor market, the business environment, public sector efficiency, and global integration, while ensuring a sustainable use of energy and natural resources. The distinguished writer Ismail Kadare was honored in Pristina with the Albanian Literature International Prize. The prize was given to Mr. Kadare by Kosovo's Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport in recognition of his great contribution to Albanian and world literature. In his remarks at the award ceremony, Kadare said, "I am beyond happy to be presented with this award, which is of great significance to me. Thank you to Kosovo and my readers. I feel deeply honored to receive this prize. Believe me when I say this prize carries greater significance to me than any other prize. I am absolutely thrilled to receive this at the Library of Kosovo, the Kingdom of Readers," Kadare said. This special award is given to personalities who, through their work, have an essential influence on the emancipation of society, the establishment and general awareness of emancipatory values, with special emphasis through the field of literature, thus contributing to its international recognition. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. For your local news in English, my name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.